Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 for operations and hard stratagems. Now, this class didn't really receive any major changes this time around, so he is still one of the strongest classes in the entire game, and the Power Fist is still his best in slot weapon, in my opinion. Now, for the variant of the Power Fist, I think block weapons are overall the best on the Bulwark currently for a couple reasons. Number one, the zero frame startup of block weapons, these really benefit you with the perks like Intimidating Aura. This one says a perfect time parry deals AoE damage within a 5-meter radius, so the cooldown is 5 seconds. This will also function on a perfect block, not just a perfect parry, even though the description doesn't tell you. That was changed back in like patch 8, and because of that, Intimidating Aura is very strong with block weapons, and block weapons also have a 60% range damage reduction buff every time you get a perfect block for 2 seconds, and that stacks very well with your damage reduction perks like Steel Within and your starting HP increase of 30%. Now, the other option here is obviously the balanced Power Fist. This one is very strong, but when it comes to balanced weapons, I actually think these are way better on the Assault class than the Bulwark, for the first reason being that the Assault class can just animation cancel out of his balance parry window whenever he wants, because the animation cancel of the Assault with the jump pack dash here, this will function mid parry. The animation cancel on the Bulwark class, this requires you to shield block, and because of that, you are not able to do an animation cancel in the middle of your parry, so you cannot escape the awkward windup of a balanced parry window. They aren't bad on him by any means. I think block is just better for that reason, because he just likes that zero frame startup. Now, for the perk tree on this, I do start with the perk here, Perpetual Strength, moving here into the perk Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation times reduced by 30%. You know, heavy attacks are pretty much all you want on the Power Fist in general, so you always want this perk. A 30% reduction in preparation time is tremendous, and honestly, the top tree practically doesn't exist because of this. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, up here to Perpetual Strength again. And then I pick up the perk here, Focused Intention. When your health is below 30%, you will take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. This is another tremendous damage reduction perk. The way that Space Marine 2 works is that below 25% HP in this game, you will get a ramping damage reduction to like absurd levels, and that will stack with the damage reduction from this that goes up to 50% on top of your other damage reduction like the Steel Within perk or Conviction, on top of the fact you have a 30% increased starting HP, which means your effective HP at low HP values is already kind of ridiculous. So a really strong perk for him, and because of that, you are able to trade with the Power Fist very easily, because the way you get HP back on a Power Fist is by charging up your attack, one-shotting the weapon, or excuse me, one-shotting the enemy when you actually let go of your charge attack, even though you took damage during that charge attack, and then you get all your HP back off the execute. So top tier perk, pretty much always pick this up. Next perk here is Tide of Battle. Power wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8 meters. This is actually an increase from 10 to 20 meters, which basically turns your Power Fist into a ranged weapon. This is one of the reasons it is so strong on the Bulwark and Assault, especially, even though it's like, you know, the only class it's on. But for the point of this guide, I'm trying to say that we have only a secondary option, and because of that, having a Power Fist to be a ranged weapon as our primary is super useful in saving ammunition, and you are able to do things like punch Neurothropes and Zoanthropes out of the sky, on top of stuff like Enlightened Zangors. So a really good option here, and Tide of Battle is a must pick. Next perk here is Following Blow, down here into the perk Strength of Will. Then I grab the perk here Combo, and the final perk Majora Slayer for a 10% melee damage buff against Majora's level enemies, because sometimes this helps out with breakpoints. And that's pretty much all there is for the Power Fist. But I will say, the other option you can take here is something like the Block Power Axe. The Block Power Axe is very strong on the Bulwark class as well, because you can animation cancel out of your Power Wave immediately into things like a Shield Bash, or just go back into other attacks, and because of that, his block synergy here is very strong, and honestly the Block Power Axe in general is a top tier weapon, really only in second place to things like the Block Power Fist. Now, for the perk tree on this, it's pretty much the same as all the other builds for the Block Power Axe. You just go full damage with things like Perpetual Strength into Coup de Grace, and then you pick up stuff like Riposte for double overhead damage on a Power Backstep Strike, and then we also go into Tactical Retreat for more Power Backstep damage. The perk up here, Power Wave, and the final perk, Cleaver, because 10% more damage against Majora's and higher is super valuable for you. And if you really want to take like a Thunder Hammer for whatever reason, I guess you could, but the Thunder Hammer is like the de facto worst weapon on the Bulwark class right now, because you lose your shield, and your shield is like the source of your animation cancel and your range blocking, and that's a huge portion of your class's power level. Though, one day I'll probably make a guide for both this and the power sword. But for now, I would stick with the block power fist and the block power axe here, and maybe whatever you want to use. Now, for the secondary option, I do take the rate of fire plasma pistol. This is still the best secondary in the game, in my opinion. It has the best CHP recovery, it has a great stagger, pretty shit ammo economy, but it makes up for that with pretty good damage. And even though you do lose out on that ammo economy, the perk tree we set up with this option here does kind of circumvent that a little bit with stuff like plasma collection, efficient charge, perpetual velocity for a shot charge rate, and also divine might for more damage down here. So a really strong option in general. Though if you want to take like the brand new bolt carbine, you could do that. I would set up this way on like any setup. And for the heavy bolt pistol, I'd probably set up something like this or go up here through discipline. But that's all up to you. That's pretty much all there is for the secondary. Now for the perk tree here. The first perk we take here is Intimidating Aura. A per time parry deals AoE damage in a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. This is one of the best damage perks on the defense in the entire game, and this will put out around 200 damage per perfect parry. And to put that in perspective, a Sword Warrior on absolute difficulty will have 308 HP. You're doing over half a warrior's HP with a single perfect parry, which is kind of insane. It also works a perfect block, like I mentioned before. So as far as damage goes, you can mop up bosses like the Vortex Beast, Hellbrute, Carnifex just with this perk. So you pretty much always take this on like a top tier build. Though I will say an easier option is Conviction, because stacking Conviction on top of Steel Within, on top of Scramble Targeting, and your starting HP increase, you're practically unkillable, but you do lose a bit of damage. Next perk here is Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, it will take 25% less damage from range attacks. This is just a free range damage reduction. Being surrounded by 5 or more enemies happens all the time in the operations and hard strats, and especially Siege. Though I will say, if you want to take Shock and Awe and like emergency countermeasure, you can do that. You will get a lot of damage for free off of this. Armor of Contempt is not very strong. Like, the damage put out by this is not very powerful at all. A lot of people think it is, but it's a super overrated perk. But Shock and Awe and Scramble Targeting here, they're the overall best option. Next perk here is Steel Within. When your health's less than 50%, you will take 30% less health damage. This is like the major damage reduction enabler for most builds on the Bulwark class with Intimidating Aura. Without this, you are substantially squishier. It's not to say like you're super squishy, because you do have other options like Focus Restoration to give you armor back, like your starting HP increase of 30% increase here. Yeah, a little redundant, but the point is that Steel Within on top of that base HP increase will make you substantially tankier. And if you're not taking Conviction, I would definitely take this perk, especially if you're fighting Chaos, because they don't give you as many gun strikes for armor reinforcement, and armor reinforcement I would really only take against Pyramid faction normally. At least like it's definitely best there. Now as far as defensive advantage goes, this perk is not very strong at all. A 30-second cooldown on a 5-second shock area is pretty shit, and you're better off just taking the 45-second cooldown emergency countermeasure and stacking that with Shock and Awe, which is much better, and you're way less squishy. Next perk here is Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds, all team members automatically restore 1 armor segment. This is a super underrated perk in Space Marine 2. 1 armor to your entire team every 30 seconds comes out to so much free damage reduction. Armor in Space Marine 2 will damage cap all the time against melee attacks. So what I mean by that is any melee attack in Space Marine 2 will do 0 damage if you have any amount of armor left, and that includes bosses. So 1 armor segment to a tactical, that's the difference between them losing like 70% of their HP and getting knocked over, or especially a Tech Marine, and just living. So a really powerful perk, and also helps you out as well. Next perk here is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies with zero effect. This perk will put out a ton of free damage for you. This will wipe out Minoris, deal significant damage to Majoris, Extremis, and even bosses. And as far as the rest of this column is concerned, Rapid Regeneration is okay. The banner restores armor 300% faster, but a duration is reduced by 10%, or excuse me, not 10%, 10 seconds, which actually cuts your banner time in half. And cutting your banner time in half, guys, that shit sucks. So the banner effect of like armor restoration being faster, that's pretty good for like range attacks, but you're just way better off with Purity of Purpose, because this one just puts out damage for free on top of like giving you the full benefit of your normal banner. Next perk here is Invigorating Icon. When the banner is activated, all team members regain maximum contested health, but it recharges 50% slower. This perk is the best for like 99% of players. Okay, Concussive Force is technically more damage on the Shield Bash, but this is the best DPS build for the Bulwark in the entire game. But for like, practical gameplay, I would just say take the healing perk. A 50% slower recharge may kind of suck to play with, but it is a very powerful perk option. If you really don't want the healing, you just want to use your banner and you don't really feel comfortable with the Shield Bash animation cancel, you can just take Glory's Shield because this perk is also great. Next perk here is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%, you don't lose control of heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. This just gives you no knockback for free on just shield bashing the air. You pretty much take this on every build. Rejuvenating effect is pretty good, and so is Inspiration. It's just this one is definitely better. If you really don't want to take this perk, if you want that like a free revive on a banner, you just take Armor Advance to give you back like all of your no knockback when you have armor remaining, because this is also a very strong pick. And speaking of your signature perks, we are going to go to the next one here, which is Defensive Mastery. A perfect time parry or block instantly incapacitates a Majora's or extremist level enemy. The cooldown is 90 seconds. In my opinion, this is the best signature perk currently for the Bulwark. Being able to one-shot an Extremis in the middle of a boss fight is life-saving. This perk sounds way worse than it actually is, because in practice, it just removes threats for you automatically for free. The only negative perk interaction here is that if you get the trigger of this on top of an Intimidating Aura trigger, you'll just straight up one-shot the guy with no option to execute the Extremis or Majoris. That can lose you HP sometimes, but losing HP is also not too bad on the Bulwark class because you're so damn tanky. So for the most part, this definitely saves your life and saves you a ton of time in killing bosses and just wiping out free Extremis spawns. Now, alternatively, you could take Armor Advance or Emergency Countermeasure. If you take this one, I would stack it with Shock and Awe, because this 25% damage buff is very noticeable. And also, this is pretty much lets you be a Squid Inking with like an Emergency Countermeasure for a Shock Nade at your, place of origin. You know what I'm saying? Point is, free Shock Nade, and those are my opinions on the Signature perk. Now, for the Prestige perk options, I do take Resilience first, Medicate Singers for 40% more HP. For operations and hard strats, I really don't think you need Auxiliary Reload. You're not getting a ton back from this anyways, and the amount of Extremis in the operations is not low, it's just not high enough that like I really feel like I want this on a super meta build, but if you want to take this, you definitely can. Next perk, which I would take all the time, is Overcharge. Health and charge attack damage increases by 20%. This just buffs your damage on your thrust jab, on your power fist relentlessly. It is ridiculous how awesome this perk actually is. It's a 20% multiplicative melee damage buff to the heaviest hitting attacks on both the power axe and power fist. You just take this all the time, especially since it's in a prestige perk tree. Final perks here are Powerful Shot for range damage increase of 20%, and Masterful Defense for ability charge being restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. With this perk, you will pretty much get a banner back almost entirely just off of a single minigun Terminator. A really powerful option for you, so if you have a shield, you just take this perk, and that's pretty much all there is for the Prestige perk tree. And that's pretty much all there is for this build guide. I do think this is the strongest build on the Bulwark overall currently for ops and hard strats, and like honestly, this is pretty interchangeable with Siege mode as well. The Bulwark is pretty nuts with most setups that like take any type of perk combo like this. You have a pretty easy time in most content in the game. So hopefully this build guide helped you. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thank you for watching. If you want to watch me live to ask me questions about the game or just come hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description alongside a link with my community Discord. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. Oh, they finally patched the Bulwark? No. There's a cooldown on it, but... Oh, it's not body blocking me. Right. Said the perfect dodge for that, was a little annoying.
the astrographic relay. We'll watch the heretic trickery.
They're just standing there too, and I'm just shooting. You want to keep me in there the entire time. How rude is that?
The dark gods shall show. Looking further torments. Good. Extermination has come.
But the block fist is so good. Power fist goes burr. Yeah, block fist, especially on Bulwark, is just, it's so strong. This class can really make up for like any problems this thing might have. Benesca, thank you for the prime.
Is this the glory madness? The enemy cry for help scatters into silence.
That's really unfortunate he did that. Right, give me my...
Their numbers are meaningless to us.
There we go.
Back to your dark masters of the level fiend. Black steel ray. Victory goes to the righteous, not the proud.
You guys saw me hit my parry button. You saw it. You saw it. You did the animation and everything. You just didn't give it to me. Oh, just getting murdered by Zangor. It's not really matters on this build, but you saw me do it.
Traitorous scum do not deserve the mercy of death.
Yeah, no capes on Bulwark. They'll probably update that eventually. You gotta keep in mind, guys, all the stuff like champion customization, all this game's customization has only gotten better over time.
Ready to fly. The traitor tasted the Imperium's justice.
Oh, that may have been a complete waste of my healing, but okay. For some reason I thought my power was going to be back more. We're not on that patch.
Our eyes can no longer gaze at this atrocity.
A very fair build.
Heretics, witches, urged with righteous hatred. His will be done.
This was just the first wave of this new warrior system. I'm sure they'll bring caves to Bulwark eventually. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people gotta chill out. People are very reactionary in this game about like every little cosmetic thing, when like it really only gets better over time.
We have dispatched the mutants.
Calling the internet reactionary, it's saying it's so, it's true. It may shock you. Okay, I'm actually doing 0 damage to this guy. Alright, finally. I just have to point blank him. Super epic. Oh my god, this is a bugged area. Please perish. There we go. Yeah, so for those of you who are curious how I have a flaming skull, because I have the brazier on with the backpack with the Black Templar, because you can do that right now. Hopefully they never patch that, because it's really fucking cool. We also do it with other options, but this one looks the best. A flaming skeleton on your back. Love your stuff, FTG. Keep it up, big man. We always will.
We will deliver justice to these defilers in the lower levels. This is clearly a domain of the traitors' making. They must have brought us
Delta
here.
bomb? I guess too bad.
It hungers. It will seek out your anguish to whet its appetite. Find the cause of this madness. Tread cautiously, brothers. This madness is everywhere. On your guard. An astropath is going to attack. It cannot be allowed to live.
My brothers are actually heavy enough. The power of a last sniper is so powerful. He can push over a shielded bulwark with his shot.
Look upon this relic and falter not in your duty. Our foes push to overwhelm us. Stop them! These cravens did not live to be reinforced.
Fair and balanced class.
The heretic lies defeated.
A laser with pushback? Yeah, it makes so much sense, doesn't it?
I see you, champion in the ether. Approach and binge upon their suffering. This astropath does the bidding of the heretics now. Full tactical force authorized. The changer of ways. Grant us implements of retribution. Stop it before it conjures more of its wretched brethren. Destroy the astropath's profane construct, and then put the rabid guard down. The taint of the warp in
Alright, let's do this. So you can sit behind this altar. As long as you don't block your shield, because that ups your hitbox, you can sit behind this altar and just... Thanks, guys.
Protect yourselves!
Right. Let's do this.
These traitors can't survive. Charge!
maybe they patched it. Maybe they patched it. Hold on, maybe they actually patched it this patch. You can't do that anymore, guys. You can't. I'll try. I don't know if I want to try again, but I'm pretty sure you can't do it anymore. I was not blocking.
Death, war, and blood. In vengeance, serve the Emperor. His taint has been protect yourselves.
Let's see. No, it doesn't work anymore. Okay. Copy that.
Break the foul altar apart.
You can no longer hide behind the altar. Rest in peace.
Abomination.
Took me nearly a year to patch that.
The new locus does not change our objective. None shall escape the insatiable war of transformation. You will be only the first. I see our objective, brothers. The second company is already lost. We are its last pathetic gasp. Corruption speaks with our voices. Our zeal will shield us from psychic subterfuge. They are calling for rain. Punish their weakness. His will be done. We must slay this hellspawn. The abomination is known. Cast your attention to the Zandor spearman. Aims the foe before he can rally. Endless are the legions of mankind's enemies. The motes of the cult heresy scatter before us. With molten flame shall we smite them. Victory goes to the righteous, not to the
Oh, so we got the nice one here with the Astropath. So if you get the right path here, you go to the generator. Over here is the Astropath area. Far superior, in my opinion. Hey, FTG, are you going for the cape grind? I mean, I'll do it eventually no matter what. I'm not like rushing it though. I don't much care. If I wanted to show off the capes, I would just use a mod to unlock them in offline. That doesn't save over. I like the customization in the game, but you also just play the story, just overhaul with that.
Our duty is to find and kill whatever made that sound. Oh, changer of ways. Surge your will through our bodies to slaughter the interlopers.
Sorry, we have our health bomb.
The shield of sorcery protects the astropath. The shield reaches vital essence from other
How goes it, gang? We are just... We had internet issues and stream drops. We're back for real. And now we're also going to finish up the run I wanted to do yesterday. Among other things. And then probably Siege later.
Countess dead. It was a lie.
His brain must be mush by now. Never is. Or it always has been.
Heretic Astropath terminated. My war
At the
gear
ammo
is
box.
satisfied. Must let us cleanse these lost astropaths.
It sent one cultist to the portal, and he dies to the aura of your fist punching the other cultist. Soul takes.
Are all dead. Without them, the barrier has dispersed. Target the possessed fiend, brothers. You traitor, frozen and broken. A thousand sounds taste defeat once again. Prepare yourselves.
Oh, less stims you play solo? Yes, sir. You don't find any stims at the ammo caches.
We cannot allow any influence from the warp to remain in the relay.
Armor boost like that. We love that.
The heretic lies defeated.
The ordeal for 3 headshots in 1 is rough. I got that ordeal off of blowing up a melt-a-bomb and a bunch of chaos spawn. I have no idea how it worked. All I know is, I blew them up. They died.
Put down that music.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Cut down that corrupt Terminator. The banner is ready to fly. We have dispatched.
And a parry phase? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, this game. It's getting frustrating sometimes. I would have put him in execute.
Dark Masters of Malevolent Fiend.
It's a new operation fun. New operation is pretty good. It's very long though. And there's not like a really big through line. It sends you all over the place.
I am ready to unfurl the banner. Let us march unhindered. Whatever foul abomination awaits will be in the midst of that warp energy. Drown its howling with the roar of our bolters. Destroy the beast.
You can just do this. As long as you have no knockback active, he actually can't knock you over with this. So we have to reapply that over and over. Okay, well we parry phased in there. That's not our fault though.
Destroy the witch.
Punch, punch. You actually can't do anything to us. Oh.
at the demonic monstrosity.
He just stands there menacingly.
It is forcing us further into the corruption. Whatever realm this is, we are not welcome. This place burns with corruption. Whoever finds us an exit will have my thanks. A possible path to deliverance appears to us. I am free of the darkness. Now to eliminate its source. Remove those tentacles at once. The beast is disarmed. Attack! Avoid those beams!
I block these. I remember. Whatever.
Conserve munitions until we take down that arcane barrier. Thousand Suns reinforcements inbound. Do not let a single unholy cur touch that beast, brothers.
Yeah, that's definitely what I wanted.
Behold, the true horror of heresy. Rid yourselves of its repugnant influence, brothers. Evade! Projectiles inbound!
Oh, that's actually. Oh, being 2 feet away from him when that happens.
Now is our chance. Finish the beast off! Suffer not the witch to live!
And that's a wrap. That's when I taking the 6 block combo and siege of the Terminator on your ass? Yeah.